So this is by far my favorite part of all these builds. So we've narrowed it down to this minor monstrosity of a thing. So this is really the best way to tell what you're working with, right? So this is what we're kind of working with. So we got a little bit of rust here. Most of this is just mud. Now that I've done that preliminary pressure wash, I'm going to pull this back out and the whole thing's going to get washed again. And to get all this main stuff off. This will all be polished up. Everything's going to get nice and polished up. It'll look really good when it's done. But now we can really look at what we're working with. So what is the damage from the actual accident? Well, from what I can tell, really not a whole lot, to be honest with you. Oh, that's good. Some plugs in these tires. Oh, that would have been good to know. And they didn't even trim them. Well, that's annoying. All right, well, use machine, whatever. So, you get to look at these types of things. Like this is our, spark plugs. The grounds there are not looking super good for that coil patch, so we've got to clean all that up. I'm going to clean all this up. This will all get pour 15'd all along here. The accessory box is going to come off. Honda's got some weird stuff going on with their air boxes, man. So you got this snorkel thing going down to the air box. And you got this one coming from it also. Why? Why is that there? Is that so that if it fills with water, this will fill first? Although it can't really be because the air box is higher. So the carb takes water in from there. So if this were to fill with water, no, the carb would suck water in first. So I don't actually know what this is. If anybody knows, let me know. But yeah, so it's pretty much what we're working with. I got the handlebars off. I got a pile of parts right here. I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to replace this front rack. They're pretty expensive. I'm not really sure if I'm going to. And then we got the gauge cluster apart. I'm going to do a whole video on replacing this face because I don't actually know how that comes out. It looks like there's some little, you can see like in here, that area right there. That probably pops off, and my guess is there's probably screws behind those. I was able to salvage the hand grips. One thing I noticed, so this brake thing, this was like, you couldn't even move it. So I heated that up, popped that off. That's going to get repainted. Honestly, all this is going to get repainted. Frame's going to get touched up. I cannot tell for the life of me what's up with this front end. There is definitely something out of whack. I can't tell if it's just something that just slightly got, the tie rods got bent. I'm going to get new ones anyway because the end links are pretty shot. Or if there's a minor bend in the A-arm or the knuckle. It's really hard to tell. It's so minuscule. When you look at the machine from the top, you can do that together right now. So when you look at the machine from the top, I don't know, you tell me. It looks kind of almost like they're not even. This side is a little bit more far forward than that side, but it's really hard to tell. So I think it might just need to be realigned. I'm hoping that's all it is. But, so, my impressions of the Hondas is interesting, right? Because I always work on Polaris's, the Kawasaki's. This thing is actually not that easy to work on. Not compared to the Polaris and the Kawasaki. It's I was surprised by that. There's a lot of weird, you can tell their build quality is super high. But the locations of stuff, really annoying. Kawasaki put all of their connectors, they're let's see if I can show you this comparison. And you can't really see it, but they're just sitting up there, right? That's where everything is. There's no harnesses down here. There's nothing crazy. And Polaris is honestly pretty much the same way. Now, Honda did that too, I guess. But the access on the Hondas is not good. There's really only two plastics. And to get them off, it's a nightmare. Everything is all tied into one other thing. And, Polarises are kind of like that, but not like this. This just It's a whole other level of weird. So I don't know how many of you guys have ever actually torn one of these down. And no, of course, obviously compared to, like a car or a litany of other types of machines you can work on, no, any quad is going to be easier. So I'm not comparing it to that type of stuff. Obviously, I build cars. Obviously, I get all that. I'm just saying, comparing this to the Cowie and the Polaris, this is definitely not any easier to work on. Now, two sides of every coin, right? The assumption probably with the Honda is that you never have to really work on it. And I haven't actually done any maintenance stuff. This has all just been tearing it down. But like I said, just like this nest of wiring up here, the way everything's routed, everything is very. And again, I will go back to, I'm guessing it's probably because these are much more purposeful. The Polaris, everything is routed in the same direction, the same way, the same spot. So it's really easy to get to everything, get everything off. These, though, I'm guessing they spent a lot of time engineering and designing exactly where every little fitting, every little piece, like look at how intricate this is, right? Like just that by itself. I mean, you've got a T going up to a single, which all that makes sense, right? But you've got these tied into the breathers, the breathers tied up to there, then these all tied together here, those wires all up in there, this sensor, this thing's got quite a few sensors and wires on it. So I don't know, just an observation. Just thought it was kind of interesting. But yeah, so we'll continue this, and got the parts on order. So we shall see. We'll talk to you guys soon.